Hello, hello, hello. We getting right into it, cause I got some grinding to do. I'm not even sure that Twitch is showing me live, so if you're hearing this, you're watching the VOD. Thank you. I appreciate you. I know you're out there. I do see you. I appreciate you. Just like I say at the end of every stream. It is greatly appreciated. Oh, right. I have a team adjustment. Oh, thanks you. I just always, there's like a disconnect between what I see. It's like, it doesn't show me live for like a minute or two. So, fair enough. And I guess I can get it out of the way now. I do have a slight bit of a team adjustment, because we managed to get the... Oh, I can't... Okay, well I guess I can't draw it out then. I managed to get an Abra last night, which was fucking excellent. But I've already got 6 absolute beasts. So the question becomes, who do I leave behind out of these absolute units? Now, there's a clear weak link here for the levels, and it's deeply unfortunate, but I am afraid that... Damn it, screwed me again. We're leaving Snitch behind. Might be controversial, leaving behind Meritata, but I thought about it a lot, and I consulted my expert advisors, and I think in the long run, this is the best play. It's gonna suck for a while. I'm gonna have to do a lot of switch training, but Abra! Like, Psychic is overpowered in this gen. I don't think that can really be debated. He's kind of squishy, but he also has a better move list than Mr. Mime from what I'm seeing, assuming I wasn't getting my information from bad sources. And I trust the Vimbert panel of expert advisors. The expert advisors are remaining anonymous, out of concerns for their safety. No, the expert advisors did not... I did not consult them on the teams. That was all me, so that's probably why it's a terrible decision that's absolutely going to fuck me over later. But, I appreciate that, Leafy. Oh, missing with the wrap? Amateur move. Also, these dudes are like level 6. This seems like the XP is not going to be good. I may want to live a little... Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna live dangerously. So far this run is a pile of bad decisions. And I'm gonna make one more by grinding to the north. You know, maybe make this slightly less unbearable to watch as I just grind up levels because I'm out of trainers. You know, it doesn't help that I'm switching in so many of my new Pokemon, but I'm way more happy with them than the ones I was lugging around, so, you know. We're back on your home turf, Kobe. But we've come back to conquer. Oh, perfect! This is still only level 7. Okay, well, Snake can probably solo it then, because it can't fight back. We like that. Maybe get a poison in? No? Okay. Poison would be greatly appreciated. Yeah! There we go. Harden all you like. Okay, that's at least marginally better. Let's see what else is around here. And of course, there are resources I could be looking at to, you know, see what's there. Thank you! That's something that I did, the first... Oh, there we go, level 14 Oddish. Yeah, that's a little more legitimate. That's something I did when I did a brief Nuzlocke run where I got my ass kicked. Because, I've seen a few other, people who kind of like specialize in Pokemon content do the same. Same with my little casualties display. And I'm like, you know, that's a really good idea, so anybody can see at a glance. I think what Zed has done is also really brilliant. Having his team over on the left, and with those very stylized illustrations, it's a very cool touch. Hugh can leap in here if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any rule about having to keep the starter in the party. I want to. I'm pretty sure he was talked about wanting to kick his Pikachu to the curb eventually. I could be wrong, but I don't believe that's on the... There you go. There it is. God, I'm so glad I got Borb after the tragic loss of Drone. Okay, Kobe. We just have to bear with this until you evolve, and then you start murdering everything. Forever. And always. Yeah, Hugh's situation's a little weird, because he has, like, 2 starters because yellow version. One of the few perks he gets in exchange for level caps completely screwing him later. Or at least so I'm told. I never actually looked it up myself. Revia, you're tanky and you need XP still. Our level cap is 21, so we're gonna be here for just a little bit. So we just gonna vibe for a while. That is entirely fair, Hugh. I actually kind of laid out my, like, best case scenario when I was just starting the run. And I was really, I know it was super unlikely, but I was really hoping for a Pikachu in Viridian Forest, because an electric type would have been fantastic. Like, Nap and Fap is good, you know. Grass type is also very valuable. But I would prefer to have electric, honestly. Because you know, with Oddish, I can't escape that damn poison typing. I kind of have a lot of that in my teaming, which is not great. Power plant will get me one? Okay. Oh, Voltorb, I assume? Because I know those were all over the place in Gen 2 power plant. Well, part of that was just the fixed encounters, where they were like, hey, would you like to fight 6 self-destructing things in a row? No? Too bad, go do it. Not one of the highlights of Gen 2, in my opinion. Ah, a Pokemon that can only increase its defense. Snake. I have high hopes for Solid Snake. Mostly because I want to annoy the shit out of people with rap. I'm just waiting for somebody to bust out a self-destruct in, like, the PvE in one of our actual runs as just like a last resort, you know, maybe against the Elite Four or something. Like, screw you, I don't want to deal with this Pokemon, get obliterated. I would love to see that. I might have to subject your ears to some completely legitimate speed ups when I'm fighting a Kakuna, because it can do literally nothing. I don't know. I'll see how... Welp. Because, you know, Snake, he doesn't have as good equipment yet. This is him in, like, in the NES, or... No, it wasn't NES, it was, what was the system his first game was on? I forget. It was some kind of funky, like, PC 98 type, affair. Where the whole point of, like, Metal Gear being the way it was at first was just hardware restrictions. They could only show a few enemies on screen and they wanted an action game, so Kojima was like, alright, how about stealth then? And everyone was like, what? In the interest of us not being here all night, Atari. I mean, you joke, but I think it was almost that old. I'm doing so within reason here. Purely within reason, because I know it is a pathway to deaths some might consider to be unnatural. And I've kind of courted the Poke Reaper enough for one run. I mean, I'm still gonna do it dozens more times at least, purely through my inexperience, but no need to do it more than necessary, you know? Okay, Kobe, just a few more levels. Come on, I believe. Ah, Oddish. Also known as an incredibly easy way to grind my way to a Firo. I welcome this. It was probably I missed some of Hugh, but I'm sure it was very useful for Menma as well. Just ember these little guys down. Oh well, I'm kind of already in like my grinding zen, because during work today, because it's the slow season, I played Shin Megami Tensei 5 for like 3 hours, grinding to beat the optional boss. Ah, nice, nice. Yeah, I think you and Zed were a little more diligent about it than I was. I just kind of YOLO'd my way into trainers, probably sooner than I should have. But yeah, depending on how you look at it, I'm either warmed up for grinding, or I'm already kind of grinded out. Because I was doing a lot of demon slaying on my Switch at work. But I did manage to beat that optional boss. And it was great. Just smacking him for 6,000 damage every round with crits. And denying him the ability to use literally anything against me. Such power. Such devastation. It was my intention. This. Oh! Come on, Oddish. Why it gotta be like that? Submit to death. Thank you. It is interesting to think about. I know in the original Nuzlocke comics, like, kind of the lore was that any Pokemon that got KO'd... Oh. Well, let's all wave a fond farewell to our dear friend Abra. Unless teleport can fail? No, I didn't think so. Oh well. Once I'm done Switch training, I could... It's fine, Leaf. I already got my encounter for the route. Versus Kakuna. Solid Snake's out of stuff. Sure, Nap and Fap. You're not going to do amazing, but you need XP. Oh, right. Kakuna's poison type. Derp. Oh, there's a type resistance there. I knew that. I knew that. Christ. I swear when it comes to the PvP, I need to, like, have a type advantage chart up, because somehow I'm managing to forget everything I knew. But anyway, in terms of a Nuzlocke, like, do you just go forth and commit just mass murder in the countryside of just the native Pokemon population every time you gotta level up? These are the things I wonder about. Alright, Kobe. I believe in you. You can teleport faster than this, chump. Hey! I actually read through, not long before Pokeboomers began, those original Nuzlocke comics where the guy literally invented the, No! I forgot about the Misty trainers. Thank you. I think I will take those on once I have my dudes at a little bit higher level, because I know at least one of them can be pretty nasty. But that's important to bear in mind for the level cap purposes. Level cap is 21, so I've got a little bit of room to work with here, particularly with Kobe and Solid Snake needing some work. So I figure probably like, I get to 19, 20-ish, and then I can start rolling in there. Well, actually Nap and Fap will probably give, like, maybe a level, because Nap and Fap is probably just gonna solo those chumps, because Absorb OP. At least when you got type advantage. Speaking of type advantage... Ah, alright. You've trained for this, Kobe. You got a level on him. I believe in you! Kobe, you absolute chump. You've disgraced me. I bet Amber is pretty good experience if it kind of metal slimes its way away from you in random battles. I'll have to test that. Yeah, not too much to say here. Just these Oddishes are great though, because they just can't scratch Borb. Even though Borb has kind of garbage defenses, it doesn't matter. Type advantage is a hell of a drug. I wonder if Water Gun would be better because Harden... Oh yeah! I do find myself missing even just the Gen 2 quality of life stuff I'm used to. You know, being able to see the details of moves and all that. Kinda nice to have those details when you're, like a decade rusty on most of this stuff. But oh well. There it is, that's the hardest Poison Sting is ever going to hit. That's probably not true. Probably can clear a wrap victory here. Oh no, Poison Sting for one, whatever shall I? Oh, he only crits for one. Oh, my friend. Oh, sad little Weedle. Gonna have a bad time. I don't think I've ever used an Ekans or an Arbok, come to think of it. So I'm kind of looking forward to see how they perform beyond just haha funny rap meme. Which I'm sure will not annoy the shit out of my fellow co-hosts. Not even remotely. In fact, I vaguely recall a discussion like a gentleman's rule to not do rap, but I have no recollection of agreeing to this. Because I'm all about that chaos and that jank. You know, except where Pokemon Showdown is like, no, you're not allowed to have fun. Alright, Kobe, please. Please get there. I think level 16 is what you need. Then I can start swapping in Solid Snake. Hey, that's all you need. It's really not all you need, but... What is your... Oh, right, you have Pikachu. Duh. I was about to ask you what's your plan for Misty, but... Welp. Still, I'm sure you probably would have preferred to dump all that trainer XP into Bellsprout, who I assume you might be using a little longer than your Pikachu. You know, a Pokemon that literally gets to evolve versus one that can't. Perhaps a wild prediction on my part, but I feel somewhat confident in this. Oh well, already I can tell this isn't going to be nearly as painful as the Brock grind, so this is fine. Making it a little rougher on myself by my team choices, but I think these are going to pay off long term. Are there any good, like, grass TMs you can give it until it learns, Pedal Dance, or whatever that, their standby move is? Can you at least get that, that relief? I mean, hopefully you can. I know eventually there's, like, Solar Beam and all the other nonsense that grass gets that I always forget about, but... Mega Drain, that's right. Forgot about that. You'd think it'd be Mega Absorb, maybe a character limit thing. I was surprised when I was looking up stuff last night that Oddish doesn't have the final evolution options of Sunstone or Leafstone. I had to like check like 2 or 3 times, like, they added Bellossom in Gen 2? Are you sure? Because that doesn't seem right to me, but it's what the internet said. The internet knows a thing or two about Pokemon. Seems weird, but... Or maybe it was, Vileplume? One of them was added in Generation 2. Relying a little heavily on Borb for swapping in, but he's not gonna have a lot to do in the gym, so I think it's fine. He's gonna be about as useless, well, about useless, useful, take your pick. About as useful as Hail Bell when we get in there, so... Though Hail Bell can at least type resist and tank some hits if I need to. Swap in and, like, tail whip down some stuff before I physical attack, yeah. Ah. Alright, Kobe. This is your toughest challenge yet. I believe in you. Hell yeah. Come to think of it. Yep, we are still here. We have a bit of work to do. You know, just a little bit. My lowest level Pokemon, 10 levels off the level cap, no big deal. So there's lots of killing to do. So we have another edition of the Grinding Podcast. I sense it's going to be a bit of a theme for this Nuzlocke. Oh my god, not an Oddish. That's allowed? My god, what do I even do? I mean, I could probably take on the first couple of gym trainers, but like, I'd have to just come right back here and grind because I need to get to the level cap for the PvP, so I figure I can just have all the interesting gym stuff in kind of one chunk. Build up to it, you know? You're along for the journey. Maybe that's bullshit reasoning, I don't know. It is entirely possible I'm completely full of shit with my decisions. In fact, it's even likely. But that's kind of my whole Pokemon strategy in this project. Do weird things that might not be expected, not wild enough like go in under-leveled to our little Friday showdown, but, you know, do things like stop using my Rattata. Wildcard it a little bit. Because sometimes if you just kind of pull whatever and meme, it can work. I think. I hope. Because to me, that's what Nuzlocks are all about. Trying unusual things you wouldn't normally do, using Pokemon you aren't usually going to get. Which is why, like, you know, with time, I've been more okay with, well, not drone dying. I won't lie to you like that. I've been more okay with not being able to get a Sandshrew, because every time I've played a Pokemon game, I have caught a Sandshrew, I've evolved it to Sandslash, it has been one of my 6. Every time. And now I can't do that. I have to do something else. So let's do something else, damn it. Let's do a bunch of things we ain't never done before. Man, I know I won't be able to do it in PvP or, like, real fights, but Rap's not half bad when I can get a couple Leers off. Yes, that's the new meta, certainly. I just I lead with Hailbell, my Wartortle, and I just tail whip like 3 times, and then I swap into Ekans and Rap. It's flawless. No one will ever see it coming, and they certainly won't swap out their Pokemon. No, that couldn't happen. Against the AI, it'll do fine, but you know. A little bit different when you have to play against other people. People that objectively know more about Pokemon than me. People who objectively have more experience with Pokemon than me. But a man can meme. And hopefully, this Oddish gets Kobe to 16. Which I believe is when we get that evolution. Oh! A crit! My god! A thing happened. And now it's over. I can always swap into Revia instead. No one knows more about Pokemon than me. I have the best Pokemon. Everyone knows. They say. Revia, you got this, right? Wait, is grass super effective versus ground? Okay. Oh, there's poison besides. Okay, yeah. It was gonna be fine. The best Pokemon, Ekans! Realistically, I'm assuming you're talking about Nidoqueen. Or else just continuing the meme. Either way, do continue. The best Pokemon. Tremendous! I have to kind of save up all of my completely unearned bravado and pride for when I go to the war room. I have to build up to it a little bit, because this may come as a surprise, but I'm not really that confident in this Nuzlocke. Ah, yes, you know. My Agumon, my Renamon, they are absolutely going to wreck house. They won't even see it coming. I'll do a Digimodify, maybe a Bioemerge. Psh, easy victory. Easy victory. Man, Digimon was hype as hell back in the day. And I think it was a number of years ago, but I went back and watched Tamers, I think was the anime. Held up pretty well. Like, you know, at first it was kind of whatever, but then they started getting into, like, the... not quite a level of, like, fucked up, but, like, the side of Digimon you wouldn't expect from what a lot of people dismissed as a Pokemon clone, and it was like, whoa, okay, this is like some apocalypse end of the world shit. This is great. The gun fridge, yes! How could anyone forget the gun fridge? My favorite was, and it's a damn shame what the internet has done to this Digimon, but every time Rika and Renamon would appear and just be like, hey, sup nerd, we're going to wipe the floor with you. I'm sure young Vimbert held the same opinion, because they were like the cool anti-heroes, just like, I don't care about your power of friendship. I only care about power. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Oh god, what did I do? Sorry. They would make these alternating. Absolute bastards. It's so nice that in Gen 1 they made the Poke Center animation so quick. Lets you get right back out there. I really appreciate that. Not at all a sign of manipulation or cheating on my part. Not even remotely. You saw nothing. And... okay, for a second I thought an NPC disappeared, and I was like, what is happening? Man. Gunfridge would be kind of a killer nickname for a Pokemon. If I could get, like, a Machoke. Just call it the Gunfridge. Though that means I would have to catch a Machop and those horrifying abs. Yes, far too honest to cheat. I'm the most honest man I know, just ask me. Caterpie, you're really harshing my grinding vibe here. Also, I don't auto-resist all your moves. Though you are weak enough to get taken down by like 3 poison stings, so I'll allow it. one thing I'm really looking forward to from Gen 2, I know it's thoroughly given Hugh PTSD, but, like, color. I'm really looking forward to all of us experiencing the magic of color. It'll be so nice. And, you know, a lot of little things, like being able to see descriptions of moves, the little XP bar underneath HP. They do a lot of nice things in Gen 2. Back in my day, we never had color. We had varying shades of gray, and we loved it. The alternative was to look at varying patches of dirt. I remember my favorite patch of dirt back in the day. Lost my virginity there. I almost wish on my, completely legitimate retro console, I could do something where I could apply, like, you know, the very green and black look of, like, this actually being on a Game Boy. But oh well. It's fine, I suppose. Depending on where you are, like how much clay content is in the soil. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, there it is! I think that is the magical level. Hell yeah. Kobe is evolving! Witness the rebirth. Witness the power of Kobe. Please learn Confusion on level up. Thank you, God. Alright, let's... Whoop! Oh, it doesn't even give me a yes-no prompt for that. Well, so that's a thing that can happen. Still, while we're here, may as well. Stupid muscle memory, assuming stats will be the first one. So, attack is awful, but we're never going to use that. Defense is pretty bad, but that's speed and that special. Like, I don't think even... Yeah, even Revia can't hope to scratch that special. And speed is also phenomenal. This guy is going to be the glassiest of cannons, but it's one that I'm happy to aim at all my foes. Whether they be AI or human. And yes, one mighty spoon. A spoon, just like was portrayed in the great epic, The Room. The spoon picture was actually inspired by a Kadabra. They won't tell you that, because it's not true. But I'll tell you that. Just as I will tell you that birds aren't real. Oh, hi, Oddish. Have you met my new friend, Confusion? I'm glad you two get along so well. Alright, time to do some switching with Solid Snake. Try and get him up to snuff. Birds are as real as that dead Oddish. You're right. We never saw the body of that Oddish. How do we know if Oddish... If birds aren't real, how do we know that Oddish is real? We're through the looking glass. And of course, in light of the news posted in the Weekly World Report a couple weeks ago, you know, the walls are coming down, the cracks are starting to show. They can't hide the truth forever. I saw a really funny conspiracy take earlier today. God, I should have shown the meme on stream, actually. Oh, maybe I can be faster in Trappin' and Rap? Nope. But, it was just a little onion-type capture, and it just said, to appeal to suburban Christian women, the vaccine to be distributed via a multi-level marketing platform. I was like, oh, that's so good. Pigeon drone poop. Exactly. You know, that pigeon drone poop, like, you know, bird poop? That doesn't... They have been playing us for fools, because anyone can tell that does not look like normal feces. It's this weird, like, white-black stuff. You know, almost as though the black stuff is some kind of oil or oily discharge. And the white could be some kind of lubricant. You know? Think about it. Really think about it. Okay, I should probably start leading with someone who can maybe actually kill these Abra. Yeah. Not that I think he can kill an Abra in one shot, but he can at least try, damn it. And, well, Kakuna, this is a very unfortunate day for you. Ome wa shindaru. Ah, the timeshare bundle. That's really how you get them. Man, timeshares. I have to deal with those at my job sometimes when, like, somebody owns an interest in a timeshare, and so we actually have to find out, like, how much in dues they owe in a timeshare, and it's fucking impossible to find out, because those shysters keep, like, trying to wriggle out of stating an actual number on a piece of paper. Absolutely maddening. Though I'm sure there are some timeshares out there that are completely legit, just I've yet to encounter them in my professional life. Just like, you know, there were once some birds, real birds, that soared happily in the sky, on wings, made of actual feathers, and not a very clever polymer. Oh, nice. Yeah, I actually have, well, it's kind of a tenuous relation, but I know someone who also has a Mexico timeshare, and she loves it. Because she's a little older, and it's basically just like, it's just her and a bunch of old people that just go down there for like a month and live in this little like gated resort in Mexico. Ah, there you go, there you go. Or you know, you ever think about how the passenger pigeon was incredibly widespread throughout North America? You know, absolutely everywhere? And they were hunted to extinction? Almost as though that was an early effort. They saw how widespread they could be, and the government of the time had an idea. They didn't have the technology that... Carrier pigeon, yes. Wait, I thought it was passenger pigeon. Hang on, I'm looking this up. Passenger pigeon. Yes, passenger pigeon. That is the correct name. But yeah, they didn't have the technology at the time, but the seed was planted there. You know. My associates over the Birds Aren't Real project have tried to get them to declassify those old documents, but of course they claim they don't exist. What are you talking about? Your organization is a parody, and you bill yourselves as a comedy site. But we know those are all just smoke screens. What gaslighting? This is all the truth. Did they get to you? How much did they pay you? Let's see how hard confusion can hit. Okay, yeah, not even close. Still, I feel like the ideal plan here is to just continue leading with, Kobe, because if I have to switch him in and he eats a physical attack or two, this is gonna get a whole lot more painful real quick. Oh no, Ho-Oh. The golden cow idol of those who would deceive us. The really Ho-Oh is like great. I was always more of a Lugia man myself, but you can't deny Ho-Oh, and like its design is phenomenal. Like Lugia looks kind of stupid with the hand wings and like the weird domino mask eyes, but like Ho-Oh, it's just a bird that's on fire, and it looks a little cooler than Moltres, who kind of looks like a kind of an oversized like chicken. Whereas Ho-Oh's kind of got this like neat like somehow the color scheme always makes me think of like Native American art and beadwork and stuff that I've seen. My mom's really into that stuff. She has a lot of it around her place and kind of always has. Of course, that was more after the fact, so I got retroactively reminded and thought of it that way, but... And of course, there's that greatness you get in Generation 2 if you catch Ho-Oh. That Sacred Ash. The only, you know, that's a Mega Phoenix for your whole team. Though I don't think it works in combat. Borb dies, you have to change. Well, I'm just gonna have to make sure Borb never dies. Luckily, the PvP is non-canon to the ranting and the actual run, as I would never run my mouth or be quite as conspiracy theory crazy in Hugh's house. Of course, I'll do things like make him and Zed have to say nap and fap, but there's only a particular level of problems I will cause on purpose when it's not my stream. My god. Oh, and Hugh, you and Leafy are the same color in my chat log, so I actually missed it was you saying that and not Leafy. But man, to go on record saying birds are real. Don't clip that out of context. My reputation, it would never recover. I would forever be grouped with those liars and charlatans, the thieves. Also, my god, Kobe is just absolutely murdering everything here. I love it. Like, I knew Psychic was good in Gen 1, but I didn't realize it was this good. I mean, sure, a lot of these are poison types, so this is not exactly an unbiased sample size, but... Assuming I don't get him killed like an absolute buffoon, I have a feeling that Kobe is going to be a key player on this team. And to think, when I came to this patch of grass last night, there was a lingering thought in the back of my mind. Maybe the only encounter I can get here is Abra. Maybe I save this for a fishing rod, but nah. I took the swing, I rolled the dice. And my faith was rewarded. Just like my faith that birds aren't real. Ooh, that could be something the birds aren't real, like, organizer could do. What if he registers as, like, a religion? Almost like the flying spaghetti monster people. You know, get some of that tax-exempt status. Although, you know, won't get the benefit of organized religions of being able to dictate the moral stances of most of the populace and any politician that wants to have any chance in office. Boy, what is this about Pokemon that lures out my spiciest takes? That's not really a spicy take. But it's at least one that could make some people angry. Kobe is rolling right along here. I think I'll probably have him stop at level 20. And then finish off his leveling after Misty. the meantime, I do need to get Nap and Fap probably a little bit higher. But this patch of grass does not seem to be the right place for that, because I'd get a lot of type resists. Alright, no worries, no worries. You know, we'll just be up to the same here, spreading the good word of birds not being real, and murdering everything as long as Confusion's power points hold out. I'm actually really tempted to switch back to Rattata just so I don't have to level up Ekans. If I'm being completely honest here. But the wrap cheese. The delicious cheese. Honestly, wrap would probably be, assuming you can survive a Psychic Blast to the face, probably a pretty good counter to Kobe. Because his defense is complete garbage. So you're just dealing free damage while he's locked down. Though I don't know on Showdown if you can switch out of that or not. I don't know. Hugh, do you know, can you Pokemon switch out of Wrap on Showdown, or are you just stuck? That's a thing I should probably know before I devote a huge amount of time into Dave here. Well, it can be a surprise for us both on Friday. It'll disappoint somebody, no matter which the answer is. Because we both have Wrap, but I don't think Zed has any Wrappers. If I'm remembering his team correctly. I made the War Room graphic for him last night, when it was getting very late, so I don't actually remember what his setup was, and I don't want to delay the grinding further by swapping out to look it up. So I'm just gonna assume that I don't think he does? Question mark? Well, I guess I could try and well, no, I'd still get absorbed type resisted by flying. Damn it. Has a Sprout but ain't running it? That's fair. I am not, honestly, super fond of Bellsprout. And, you know, I don't think I've ever really made much of an attempt to run one, to be fair. So, perhaps I'll be unpleasantly surprised by your Bellsprout. But, to my mind, it was just way too much of a glass cannon for not a whole lot of gain. Because, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe this is different in Gen 1, I feel like a lot of the best grass moves are special, like, you know, Solar Beam and all that. But I could be horrifically mistaken. They are, okay. Because, well, I don't remember what Bellsprout's special stats were like. And of course, I'm thinking in Gen 2 where they have special attack and special defense as separate stats rather than the absolute clown show that is Gen 1's handling of it. I mean, it's a clown show that now works in my favor, thanks to Kobe, but it's still a clown show. I have no issues admitting that up front. Straight up. It's dumb and it shouldn't work like this. But it does for now. Ooh, delicious critical. Excellent waterboarding, Hailbell. You've made your country proud. Yeah, come on. Oh, Wrap actually hit? Oh, Pog! Come on. Keep it up, Solid Snake. Choke him out. Ah! Damn, they must have, like, speed tied. No, Poison Sting would get resisted. Still have to swap out. The seconds will be worth it, I swear. I hope. If not, well, I can just replace him down the line. That Rattata in the PC box is not going anywhere. Or rather, I should be more accurate about what the appeal is there. The, the Hyper Fang in the PC box is not going anywhere. And I guess eventually the Super Fang, but Super Fang to me kind of seems like it has a little bit less appeal? Because it's just a straight, like, HP cut in half. I'm sure it'll probably come in handy in the Elite Four and stuff like that. Well, could be really good for PvP too, but I don't know. It's perhaps a wrong take of mine, but I feel like I'd rather just do more damage quickly and have that possibility of flinch. I don't know. And that's me coming into this with a paucity of Pokemon knowledge. I'm sure it depends a lot about the Pokemon you're going up against. Like, you know, they might have just gobs and gobs of HP. Like, we won't be... Wait. Is Snorlax banned? I am not remembering if Snorlax is banned offhand. But something like a Snorlax that's just made of hit points. Yeah. Nope. Oh, man. I look forward to the inevitable Snorlax versus Snorlax fights. Shouldn't be quite as bad as Blissey versus Blissey, but... You know, about as close as we can reasonably get in this contest. No, because it's also poison, so I couldn't... Yeah. Get in there, Borb. Ah, okay. Yeah, Curse on Snorlax is fantastic. I don't think I've ever used it, but, like, it just stands to reason, because if you're rolling Snorlax, you're not going first. That's not a thing that's going to happen. Unless you Quick Claw. I mean, that's also, does Slowbro have Curse in Gen 1? Is Curse even a thing in Gen 1? I'm not remembering. Or maybe I never knew in the first place. That's actually more likely. Curse isn't a thing Gen 1. I see. That's a shame. Always one of the cooler ghost moves to me. Though, I don't know how easy it is to get your hands on a Ghastly this game. Because again, my brain goes to Gen 2, where it's just like, you play at night, you go to that Bellsprout Tower, they're all over the place. You know what, Snake? You can probably get this, right? Or you can miss and let it increase its defense. Jesus Christ, Snake. Fine! We're calling in the heavy hitters. I forgot he was out of... Screw it. Already getting into that grinding haze where all the trips back and forth are starting to flow together. Ooh, cornflakes. Nice. I know lots of people are always more about the frosted flakes, but like, man, that frosting just comes right off of the milk. And then you just have inferior cornflakes and like sugary milk. Just go with the cornflakes. Yes, we are, Leafy. Because this spot is working decently well, and we got some levels to go. Granted, I haven't had either in like 3-4 years, so... Oh, well, if you're putting sugar on your cornflakes anyway. Bit of a moot point, I suppose. Me, my go-to cereal when I couldn't have, like, Cinnamon Toast Crunch or anything that was, like, the OG was Crispix. Or, like, just any Chex cereal and just, like, drizzle those SOBs with honey. So good. I miss cereal, but... Dairy and I, as I've aged, don't always get on the best. I was never about the Fruity Pebbles. I'm not sure why. Though Kix, I liked Kix. I think it was just the texture of Fruity Pebbles for me. Or something like that. Not quite sure how to describe it. I just felt like if I was going to have something sugary, I'd have like, you know, something with a little more crunch to it, like Marshmallow Mateys or Very Berry Kix. You know. Oh, right. Yeah. Kix were... Yeah, I was thinking of the Very Berry kind, where they had those little, like, very nondescript Pac-Man looking berries in it that were artificially flavored with whatever sugary crack they used in cereal back in the day. And probably still do. I have no proof that they've stopped that. In fact, they probably just stepped that up. Because they... Weird noises from outside. MSG. Sure. MSG Sugar Edition. You're on level parity. How can you do against this thing? Resist. What the fuck is that noise? Make stuff good, exactly. I might have to go on break for a sec, just because there's like... Sounds like somebody's driving like a truck through full of junk through my alleyway, the alleyway behind my house or something. Oh wow, that is not a lot of damage. Yeah, let's do some more Leers. But damn it, I will get Solid Snake up there. Okay, yeah, I'm going on a brief break once this Oddish is down to figure out what is happening outside. Alright, I am going to take a quick look outside to figure out what the fuck is going on. Probably back in a minute or two. If I get murdered, please give me a follow. Okay, I return. Sorry about that. It was nothing, and I'm fine. Thank you all for continuing to hang out while I had to unexpectedly step away. Ooh, let me throw my 2 cents in on the cereal discussion. For me, my favorite cereal was hands down Blueberry Morning. Y'all ever have that? Wasn't one that was super common, but for my money, absolute best cereal you could have. Boy, I'm really glad I know what that sound is now, because otherwise I would be kind of losing my shit here. Because it ain't stopping, but... So it goes when you have a crappy prefabricated shed in your backyard that sounds like it's about to fall over and explode when there's the slightest gust of wind outside. Should probably get rid of that thing. But it does have its uses. Goddamn teleport. Alright, I'm starting to crave some action here, so... I think I'm gonna put Nappinfap in the lead, and let's at least take down one of the gym trainers. We're certainly not going to Misty yet, but... Having a Nidoqueen, it's great. I love it! What's up, bot lane? How you feeling? How you doing? This fine evening. But I've given you so much grinding action. It is nice, Hugh. I mean, imagine... Well, I would say imagine having a Butterfree, but I can't... I'm not really allowed to say that when I literally have a Kadabra. Oh, you don't have to play League. Help is available. I know one of these is kind of nasty. I'll probably be fine. Splash! I'm first up. Let's do it. Those arms do not look right. What is this secret tech? Please, share with me your secrets. Okay, why don't I set up a poison and then do some absorb? Speed this up a little bit. Mute all! I like it. It makes so much sense. It's genius. It's the fun of playing a multiplayer game without the worst part of a multiplayer game. Having to deal with the other people. It's a bait. Exactly. Low quality bait at that, I would say. Hell yeah, there's that stun spore. Hello, Shelder. Do you like not getting to move? Particularly since you actually have some moves that can, hurt me? Aww. You don't like not moving? Well, that's too bad, because you don't have a choice. The mighty Nappinfap has spoken, and his word is die. That can't be! Oh, but... Seriously, dude? 80 Poké Dollars? Man, this is bullshit. Anyways, tragically, I have more grinding to do. The bike fund is looking Not. Yeah, the bike fund is looking not. Because, you know, the bike fund is also the hiring evil minions fund, the potion fund, the Pokeball fund. Fund for so many other things that we need. You know, if only there was a Pokemafia around that I could take some kind of shady back alley loan from. For the money I need to buy a bike. It seems like a prime opportunity for them to exploit some naive youth. Gotta find the diamond. Yeah, let's do some crime so we can buy a bicycle. There are no flaws to this plan. Wind is really blowing out there, good lord. That's alright. Solid Snake is starting to get to where he can actually solo things, and leveling up is slightly less miserable. But only slightly. He's going to be something of a liability for a while, but the long con, and rap. He's more than just solid, he's dummy thick. Well, Gaseous Snake, you see, he is the less talked about member of Enfant Terrible. You know, I think he's actually just like working as a clerk in a gas station somewhere. Kind of the disappointment of the brothers. I mean, that may not be, you know, they might have retconned that. I think that was in one of the older games. Those clerks are needed. Yeah, you're right, you're right. I don't mean to demean the service industry. Yes, male people, truly. The backbone of our very society. I support those boys in blue. The USPS. I actually do, like, since I work from home, and, I sit right by the door, whenever I catch, Ooh, that's a take, Leafy. That is a take. Who do they have doing their recruiting these days? Candlejack? I mean, I suppose they're probably pretty desperate, you know. You would know better than I, Hugh, but they, you know, maybe their HR is just making some deals with the more eldritch horrors of the HR world. Well, you see those, the US, they're just holding out for when Elon Musk creates cat girls in reality, and then they're going to recruit them all to deliver mail. Oh, that is hilarious, you. You're like, yeah, I had what it took, but I'm done with that. For a while, I was actually, because the guy who used to live in this house, I guess, had his CDL. For a while, I was getting letters, like, daily being like, hey, come use your CDL, drive truck for us. We pay all this stuff. And I was like, that's great, but I don't have a CDL, dude. Also, why are you sending just, like, mail adverts for your jobs? Are you that desperate? I actually think I got one of those for, like, some kind of job I would never take at my age. and where I'm at in life, like a fast food job or something, where they're talking about like now, bus driver, something that's, you know, like very needed, but like I'm not doing that job. Yeah, I've heard that. Like, my older brother has his CDL because he uses it as part of his business during the summers, and I guess he just gets like non-stop recruiting stuff. People, you know, apparently thinking that he's just like, oh my god, he's not driving right now. Go, 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 get him, get him, get him. But he doesn't use his CDL during the not summer because he doesn't have to work during the not summer. Because he works for himself all summer and just makes all his money then. It's a pretty genius setup, really. Oh, and for those of you that know my little brother, that's my older brother I'm talking about, not my little brother. Just to be clear. Yeah, let's take this Oddish. Should be fairly safe. I wonder why there's such a CDL shortage. You know, that seems like... It seems like that's going to be such a stable, like, career, and for people that don't want to deal with people, you're not really around people, you're just kind of, like, in your own space and control your own... Well, not exactly in control of your own working conditions most of the time, I imagine, but you do have a lot of control and a lot of time to yourself. I'm sure it's not an easy life, but... Oh, well, there are two excellent reasons right there. Thank you, Hugh and Leafy. Ah. Yeah, I think it's kind of the... You know, it's not exactly the same, but almost kind of along the same tack as, like, people pushing college rather than, like, tech school. It's just one of those trades that people don't really think about. But, like, we can't have train tracks going everywhere. So, you're gonna need to truck goods across the country. Oh. That's a shame. Gotta love red tape, right? Ah, a cat appears. You may hear some meowing like she's being murdered in a few minutes, but it's just because she's thinking about jumping up on my lap, but hasn't jumped up on my lap yet. Yeah, I'm all about building more rail. I was actually, I think it was like back in high school, one of the, so I guess this would have been like in, 2018, or like 2017 or something. But there was a candidate, I forget from which party, I assume Democratic because it was far more hard left in my younger years, who had this ambitious infrastructure plan to, like, put high-speed rail all over the damn place and, like, more rail branching off of that. And I was like, yes, that's great. Makes a lot of sense. We're huge. Let's build some rail. Get paid daily like, I guess, pizza delivery drivers do. Because, you know, they always have their little sticky note attached to every pizza I get from them. Like, come work for us. We pay daily, please. Oh, the rail stuff. Yeah, that'd be kind of nice. I've never worked at a job where I got paid by the day. Well, except for just doing some odd jobs for, like, some of my dad's businesses and other stuff like that. Nothing I would call a serious job, I guess. But I can certainly see the appeal there. Seems like it'd be kind of cool. Probably. Also, Leafy, I think the candidate I was thinking about was, Dennis Kucinich. over on the Democratic Party, and he very, very, very did not win the nomination. Because he also had a bunch of wild ideas, like, you know, hey, let's expand internet access for people, because that's going to become more important. And everybody at the time was like, lol, worrying about internet. Well, well, well. If it isn't the consequences of our lack of actions. I think he also had some more radical views, too. Maybe some UBI, stuff like that. I don't know. He was probably pretty out there to that side of the aisle if I was... Because I remember being all for him, but I do not remember what the guy stood for at all. If I looked it up now, I'd probably cringe. Because like, level 19. Alright, rolling right along here. Wait. Okay, Vorb has 19 defense. Is that as low as defense as Kobe? Oh, it's lower. Oh. Nice try. Those don't exist here, because we don't have that fancy color. Heck, I remember back in the day, yeah, it's true. I probably invited too much. I personally don't mind on the stream, but, you know, I could certainly see somebody coming in just like, yeah, some old Pokemon. Then I'm like, ha ha ha, old far-left candidate. It's good that USDA is doing that stuff, and I don't know, I feel like that's... Infrastructure shouldn't be terribly partisan, but I suppose everything these days is. Anyway, yes. We're playing Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, except not. We're just kind of knocking them all out right now. Case in point. Yeah, I agree. Exactly my sentiment. And that's probably all that should be said on that. Though I have many thoughts, capital T, about that. But yeah. Wow, Abra's all over the place, okay. I guess I can peck more psychic cats to death. My cat gave me a look when I said that. Or I guess the Abra line looks a little more like foxes. Yeah, that's probably more accurate than cats. I mean, I don't know that it was as huge a shock to me when I first saw Shiny. Probably, no, almost definitely just the red Gyarados. Because they kind of made a big deal about it in the story, and I was like, oh, sure, different color, that makes sense, but yeah, if you were like a, you know, a longtime fan who'd played Gen 1, I hadn't when I first played Gen 2. I actually had a moment like that, Hugh, when I was playing Gen 2 as a kid. On, I think, like, my third or fourth run, I got Pokerus, and I had no idea what it was, and I was, like, freaking the hell out. I was, like, trying to pore over, like, I was full conspiracy theory, trying to, like, connect the dots. I was, like, I caught all the types of unknowns in the ruins of Alph and looked at, like, the unknown Pokedex and, like, saw that there were different words. I was like, the words, what could they mean? Could they form a sentence? Does it explain these things? But, yeah, knowing now, it was just like, oh, I was just blessed by RNG, and then I deleted that save. And of course, when I told all the other kids at school about it, they were like, Vimber, what's Pokerus? You're making that up. That sounds dumb. Well, well, well. Like, years later, when I found out what it was and what a thing it was, I was like, ah, I wasn't crazy. And then about 2 seconds later, I was like, God damn it, why didn't I keep that save? Oh, Zubat, ugh. That is a tragedy, my friend. Truly a tragedy. Hey, Revia, why don't you murder things for a while? Zubat took your shiny virginity. You've never forgiven it to this day. There are about a million different better ways to phrase that, and I chose none of them. Hello, Abra. With your paltry defense, have you met my friend, Mega Punch? It was not consensual. Oh no. Though I don't think, at least when I was playing the games as a kid, I think all I ever saw was Red Gyarados, so I might not have even known in my Gen 3 playthroughs that you could have a Pokemon, aside from Red Gyarados, that could be a shiny. Of course, I was also playing Silver version on, like, the old brick Game Boy. Like, not even a Game Boy Pocket, not a Game Boy Color, an OG Game Boy. So, I didn't have that fancy color stuff. But I did get to see that at least the Red Gyarados was special because it did that little ding. And I don't think I ever saw that again. I mean, I know it's pretty rare to get, so it's cool that they do that. And unlike Pokemon Go, I haven't been good about playing Pokemon Go for a while, but when I was, it was always cool to come across a shiny in the wild. And then inevitably find out that its stats were complete garbage. As seemed inevitable. Ah, level 20. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I haven't tapped you out, right, Kobe? Oh, right, you're good to go. Okay. Only a bit more grinding, friends. Courage. Eventually this podcast shenanigans shall end. If anything, these grinding parts of the Nuzlocke are good for me to just train to, like, try and minimize dead air. Or, like, try to find the balance. Because I shouldn't just let there be silence hanging in the air for far too long a time. But if there's somebody watching who hates my voice and just wants to see Pokemon, well, they're probably going to click away regardless of what I do, but I could make it more bearable by not talking non-stop, but talking non-stop is kind of my go-to when I'm in such situations. So here we are. Oh yeah? What's your thought? What's the plan? What's the scheme? What's the idea? Oh yeah, I think I've actually seen, there was somebody at GDQ who did a speed run of, I think it was yellow version, and either red or blue version, simultaneously with the same controller. It was wild. Because, like, at first, you know, he was perfectly synchronized, but then inevitably they got off. So it was really cool watching him, like, try to adjust to be at roughly the same points in the game. And, you know, just have there being a while where on one of the games he was just walking into a wall for a while. I feel... Could we stop with the Abras, please? Let me at least try and go for a murder. Alright, that doesn't work. Cool. Oddish? Oddish! That's what we like to see. Oddish are delicious EXP vitamins for Kobe and Borb. But yeah, that same controller... I would want to be a lot better at Pokemon before... Oh, perfect. Disable. Or as I've decided to call it, cancel. Cubby can now cancel people. The thing about Disable is I remember it working differently, though maybe this is just a Generation 2 change. And I'm sure one of you out there knows this. I remember Disable being you would lock down the last move that the opponent used and stop them from using it, but from what I've seen here, it seems to just block a random move that they have. So like it got used on me and it disabled Growl or something like that, and I was like, cool, and then just kept punching them in the face. Didn't seem terribly useful. Correct. Ugh. Well, it's another move to just delete once I learn Psybeam, Psychic, Recover. Oh wait, it is? It is last move? Are you sure? Maybe I'm just misremembering. Could definitely be a thing. More delicious vegetable for Borb. And, canonically, Spearow eat bugs in the grass. So that's exactly what happens here. Just bores him in one hit. I probably shouldn't say that word when I'm playing Pokemon. Seems in poor taste. I mean, in general, that word is in poor taste, but it's neither here nor there. Oh! I thought it was level 21 evolution. Hell yeah. We have a system upgrade. We're transferring to a superior chassis. Borb evolved into Fearow. Let's take a look at this glorious drone. Those stats look a lot better than they were. That defense in particular, I am feeling one hell of a lot better about. My god. Special's not great either, but we're fast, and attack is great. Those are the important bits. That just leaves Snake and Hail Bell to level up a bit. And then I can move on to Misty. Now watch me pull an Oddish. Of course. Yeah, Now I have to think about possible over-leveling. Actually, realistically, I should probably just head back to town, heal up the Snake, get the Snake a couple more levels, and then go to Misty. Hail Bell is not going to make a difference one way or another in the coming fight, so I can just save grinding him for the end. Yeah. Okay, I think that's the play. We get the Snake a little bit stronger, and then we head in. Kick the one remaining trainer's teeth in, and then we move on to Misty herself. After, of course, a detailed war room examination of the matchup. Haven't saved in a while, just in case everything explodes. I would hate to have to do that grinding over again. Because normally I would just say, well, I can do it off stream, but that doesn't seem terribly fair, since we are doing this somewhat competitively with points, and you could very well lose a Pokemon while grinding. I have this very vivid, like, future sight of, sometime in the future where one of us will be out leveling up, and some goddamn Graveler or Voltorb will appear and self-destruct one of our Pokemon into oblivion and lose us 5 points. Absolutely gonna be a thing, I feel like. Okay, Oddish. We're fine with Oddish. We can work with Oddish. By that I mean we can Leer a couple times and then we can work with Oddish. Leer a couple 3 times. This has kind of made me appreciate a lot of JRPG, like, remakes or enhanced versions, like Dragon Quest XI-S, the Dragon Quest VIII 3DS port. Why am I just thinking Dragon Quest? I think Final Fantasy X2 collection did this as well. They let you just speed up how fast battles go. Fantastic idea, I think. Because, you know, like, the animations and everything, they're cool, but eventually they get to be a little much. And you're like, come on, let's just move this along, shall we? Because Dragon Quest VIII, one of my favorite games of all time, but the 3DS version has ruined me now. I think at one point I tried to go back to the PS2, because it has some things that go a little better for it than the 3DS, but it doesn't have that battle speed up option. And just combat seemed so sluggish to me. Despite being turn-based, I was like, this is taking too long. I can't go back. I've been spoiled by the bells and whistles of modernity. Though I think it really kind of goes back to, obviously Final Fantasy, big one in the JRPG scene. Like, the original Final Fantasy's main selling point was not its plot, was not its gameplay, it was the animations they had. It was the animations. And so I think that just kind of stuck in the heads of all the devs that came after, like, I have to have bomb-ass animations. I gotta look real pretty. Okay, this Pidgey's out for blood. Never mind. God, I would have gotten so salty if that would have critted Ekans to death. Or, Solid Snake, sorry. After all that pain and suffering to get him leveled up. Do I have a potion in the interest of not... Damn it. It's fine. I'll just do some switch training on it. He doesn't hit that hard anyway. Could always be worse. Could be the week 1 grind. Where we didn't even have relevant Pokemon to use. Or to grind against. Look at that glorious artificial sprite. Like, those feathers on set can't be natural. Come on. You can't honestly believe that. Okay, it's a level 8 Weedle. I'm pretty sure I'll be fine here. It's also going to be complete garbage for XP, but eh. Hello, Oddish. Have you met my murder drone? You and your kind have had no choice but to become very familiar with it. And finish him. I'm thinking it's about time to heal up and go on a rampage through a gym. I think we're ready. More than, I would say, in fact. After all, I still have a trainer to get through. So, this is Nap and Fap's time to shine. Front and center, my boy. Just gonna soak up all that delicious water through the roots. I'm more than good enough for you. Misty can wait. She'll be waiting, but she won't be waiting real long, junior trainer. Oh, that's a fairly high level. Oh, Super Sun. Oh, okay, it missed. That is less damage than I was hoping for. Peck? Goldeen can learn Peck? What the fuck? Okay. New plan. New plan, we Mega Punch it to death. Man. How, Confusion too. Damn it. Okay, we can afford a couple of those. I just need to get one scratch off, and... or not. Man. Goldeen learning Peck. I don't understand how that makes sense. How do you justify that? Seems strange. Well, that was decidedly unpleasant. But hey, that's what the Pokemon Center's for. Let's see. Her Ace is level 21. But Nap and Fap is basically just going to dab all over them. This is fine. Yep, this is fine. So this time I'm going to actually remember to turn on battle animations before an important fight. And of course, before we go into an important fight, we must go to the war room. This time we're up against Misty. On my side, you got those death-defying gambles. I'm taking really dumb looks, but my streamer luck pulling me through. Got that partially reformed villain energy? You know, I'm here to take down Team Rocket, and I really need a clean win, and I think I can get one off of Misty relatively easily. And backing me up, we got Solid Snake, who's literally pogging right now, dummy thick, and our absolute hype beast. Borb, heir to the drone throne. Heaven or hell, let's rock. And a soulless killing machine. Revia, who's large and in charge. An absolute unit. And got that mega punch. And Kobe, none said it could be done. What are such fools to say now? I'm so happy I have a Kadabra. And Hailbell, we got that moral support. He is sir not appearing in this gym battle, except if I need him for stall tactics. And then, of course, Nap and Fap, the literal MVP. He will evolve soon. He has the memes. Versus Misty, who uses items like a coward, or so I'm told by reliable sources. She gaslights, she gatekeeps, but she's not a girl boss. She can never become a girl boss. It's not possible. Also, look at her sprite. She's some kind of crabby-kin with that claw gripping. You know, I'm not judging, but I am judging. Because she unironically posts the Vaporeon meme. I'm not here for that. We don't like that. And she has only 2 Pokemon. First of all, Staryu wishes it were a better Pokemon. It's unoriginal. It can't innovate because it only has 2 moves. And it cuts in line at the airport. Right in front of the TSA agents. You know they don't care. They're not going to do anything. And Starmie, who refuses to acknowledge that there's no I in team. It knows that Misty's side of the show is really all about Starmie. No one's here for Staryu. It's also a little too into bubble baths. Everyone knows that person who's a little too into bubble baths. And you're always like, what are you doing in the bubble bath? And it definitely stole the gem at Flaunce, which, like, respect, but at the same time, not cool, man. Not cool. You're flexing on Staryu like that. It's a little rude. Anyway, as you can see, I have the numbers advantage, I have the morale advantage, I have the type advantage, and I've got the home field advantage, because it may be your gym, Misty, but it's my stream. With our expert analysis concluded, we can go back to the action at hand. Imagine there's a fancy transition here, because I still haven't figured out how to do that. Alright, Misty. I hope you're ready to be completely humiliated in your own gym. Hi, you're a new face. Trainers who want to turn pro have a policy about Pokemon. What is your approach when you catch Pokemon? My policy is an all-out offensive with water-type Pokemon. Yeah, that's the thing. Telegraphing like that? Look at that claw grip. She's just like, I'm gonna pinch you. We're not impressed, Misty. We see those 4 empty ball slots. What are you doing? Come on! Alright, Staryu. Are you ready for a nap and then a fap? I don't think you are. You even missed your opening tackle. Shameful. See? This is exactly what the expert War Room panel was talking about. Using items. For shame, Misty. For shame. I'm not allowed to, so why do you get to? Also, you're using X-Defend when I'm just going to hit you with special attacks. Pretty stupid. Don't know how you got to be a gym leader. Just saying. I ain't impressed. Delicious. Delicious Pokemon life force. That would have been a good backup name for Nappinfap is some kind of like vampire thing. Actually, probably should have used that on Zubat. Anyway, it goes down nice and easy. Easy level for Nappinfap, up to 18. And now, her real star of the show, Starmie. Let's immediately drop a little poison on its head. How hard this... Tackle hurts pretty hard. Tackle hurts pretty hard. Nappinfap might not be able to do the solo dream. But not if Starmie keeps missing like that. I didn't even have to... Oh. That is less damage than I was hoping to do, not gonna lie. Particularly when that tackle's hurting me for 9 a pop. But Nappinfap can stay in, you know, maybe we'll get a nice crit on Absorb. Because I would love to just T-pose on her with one Pokemon, while she's wasting turns boosting a stat I'm not attacking. Yet. Using items, like a coward, like a cheater. It's like you don't respect my completely, self-imposed challenge I'm doing here. Poison putting some work in. You're right on the ropes. Will you use a potion? Is that what you've got in your hot little claw hands? No, okay. You're going to accept death honorably. And even go out with a crit. I respect it. I respect it. Starmie, I salute you. You have been a worthy opponent for some given value of the word worthy. And another level for Nappinfap. Brilliant. And now, it's earned the first part of its name. The second part will come later, don't worry about it. And we defeat Misty. Wow, you're too much. Alright, you can have the Cascade badge to show you beat me. You're goddamn right I can. More money for the bike fund? The Cascade badge makes all Pokemon up to level 30 obey. That includes even outsiders. There's more, you can now use Cut any... Am I supposed to have Cut? Did I miss Cut? I might have to look into that later. You can cut down small bushes to open new paths. You can also have my favorite TM. TM 11. You're not going to tell me what that does, huh? TM 11 teaches Bubble Beam. Use it on an aquatic Pokemon. Okay. Sure. Why don't I just do a straight upgrade from that garbage bubble that's currently on Hail Bell? I could put it on Revia. Actually... I'm gonna have to come back to that and think about that. Ah! Hello, hello. You've just managed to miss me completely stomping Misty into the ground. Welcome! All that remains is getting up to the level cap we've set, because on Friday, I'll be facing off against Zed and Hugh in a PvP match with my current team, and I can't afford to slack on levels. The level cap is based off of the current gym leader's ace for like the week we're doing. So it's level 21 for Misty's 21 Starmie. I'll do my best, you. You have a good sleep. So first up is Solid Snake, who I swear is going to be worthwhile someday. Maybe, hopefully, kind of. And we return to the Grinding Podcast. I do have more War Room presentations available for my matchups versus Hugh and Zed. Ekans, yep. I don't know how well the, I do have the current team down in the down right. Well, I guess that doesn't tell you who's named what, but... I mean, name like that, only so many you could... I forgot to turn animations back off to help speed this along. Well... No, the other screen, you idiot. That one. There we go. Yeah, I am running an Ekans, and I'm not 100% sold on my own decision. My thought is basically, haha, funny rap, but I may regret that eventually, as I currently have 3 poison Pokemon on my team. I'm also the only one of the 3 of us with an Abra, so that feels pretty good. Though Hugh does have a Butterfree, and that's going to be a problem. That's not going to be fair. Yeah. Oh, also I am realizing that I forgot to update the overlay with Kadabra instead of Abra. That's my bad. Yeah, I basically, from what I understand of how Pokemon works, which is not a ton, and what my co-hosts have said, I have 2 giant problems on my team, Nidoqueen and Kadabra. I look forward to abusing them both to the fullest. As we choke the life out of a government drone. Pretty much, yeah. Though I did kick a Rattata off my stream, off my team, which is apparently a something of a controversial decision, and one that I may regret. We'll see. And like, I do get it, Hyperfang is great, but like, I don't know, I feel like it's not the strongest long-term choice. Yeah, Kadabra is super busted, particularly because, ain't no dark type around to spoil the fun. Snake, you can take this down, right? With your incredibly disappointing offense? Heck, I remember even in Gen 2, which is the only Pokemon I really played, get a good Natu, Xatu, or Kadabra going. It was fairly difficult to stop. And you know, that was when Psychic technically had an answer. Technically. Though good luck finding a dark Pokemon in Gen 2, ever. Yeah, Umbreon and like Sneasel, Houndour and Houndoom, and that was it. I think. I'm probably forgetting 1 or 2. Not a whole lot of trainers running those out in the game. And I feel like I never encountered them in the wild either, though. It's based on memories from 20-odd years ago, so I'm probably wrong and one of those is all over the place. Finally a move with offense. Thank you, Arceus. A move with some bite, if you will. I'll show myself out of my own stream. You're very kind to laugh. You really shouldn't. So how goes for you this evening? Are you battling the Endwalker queues? I've basically given up on trying to get in since I've had streaming and other stuff going on earlier in the evening. That's fair. That's entirely fair. But you can't even subscribe to me yet, because Daddy Bezos won't let me monetize. Not a pause of existential dread. Ah, that's smart. I think the queues are still pretty bad, even though they've brought some more servers online. So hopefully you just don't get Error 2002 to knock you out. Because what I had to do, even to get in weekend during the afternoon, was just literally like just have Endwalker up on one monitor, and then be keeping a careful eye on the everything else. Or keep an eye on while I was doing other things. Blah. Word's hard. Word's very hard. Ah, an Abra. Have you met my friend, Mega Punch? Fuck. Well, that's what I get for banking on 80% accuracy or whatever it is. God, it's still that high at this hour? Man. We gotta start kicking these Azeroth refugees out. Or, you know, at the very least, all the Lalafell players. I feel like that's fairly uncontroversial. I mean, after all, you know, Blizzard's game is, it exists. I have no idea what the current highs or low points of, Wow, I can't even... Shadowlands? Is that the expansion? Bad. Yeah, tracks with what I was hearing. Also, apparently they, made, I guess, every single major female story character just go crazy and psychopathic, and they're like, no, it's character development. Which, like, I should be surprised, but I'm not. They literally took the most, like, peace-loving character in the series and made her be like, I want to genocide the orcs! And I was like, oh, okay. It's true. That can't be denied at this point. Women, they are not about it. They are not about them. You know, in a way, perhaps we should have seen the signs. Perhaps we should have seen the signs. Though realistically, I don't think it's... I think it was mostly the executives and other people that were up to all the shady shenanigans. Though I don't know, maybe the programmers got in on the everything. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about this. Yeah, for the best, but, you know, I was on about politics earlier. I don't know why, the grinding podcast of Pokemon just, it brings something out of me. Because I just turn the filter off and I'm just like, you know what, mouth? Just go. Say whatever words you're going to say. There we go, level 21 Revia. We are now finished training her up. Let's train up our golden boy next, Kobe. The worst that happens, I don't know. It's kind of like, streaming-wise, I have nothing to lose, question mark? Alright, have a good shower. I'll be here, murdering tiny plants and animals. Thank you. I've been practicing very hard for all the all the poke ethnic cleansing. Because if I can't have a Pidgey, no one can have a Pidgey. Times like these, I do think about the rare candy that's in my bag. It's right there, tempting me. But realistically, I should save that for a higher level. Also, probably for the Pokemon I'm going to have to bring in after I get one of the higher leveled ones killed on like Giovanni or something. That's probably going to become a thing. Hey Zed, what's up? How was Night in the Woods, or are you just lurking while you and Fox finish that up for the night? No, that's okay, Zed. Realistically, like, I am impressed at the three of us for being able to catch, Oh, okay. I'm impressed with the three of us for how much we've been able to catch each other's streams, because, like, I'm very bad at hauling my ass out of bed on the weekends, and I've still tried to catch at least some of your Sunday streams. And then, you know, been pretty good about yours and Hughes as best I can, and yeah, we've been good about supporting each other. Just to quickly catch you up, I did already crush Misty. I basically had Nap and Fap the Oddish solo everything. I did have a small moment of panic when I saw that the Goldeen that the trainer before her had could new Peck for some goddamned reason. So that was a little stress-inducing, but... Yes, and of course, you'll have to see the expert War Room breakdown. Also, since you're here now, you'll get to witness the one I made for you and the one I made for Hugh. Hugh's already checked out for the night, which, like, fair, it's 9:30 for him. Oh, Peck with the horn. Okay, I was, like, staring at the fish lips on Goldeen's sprite, trying to, like, figure out in my brain, how does that make any kind of sense? Unless they meant it as some kind of gag, but okay, Peck with the horn, that's stupid, but I kind of understand it. I don't respect it, but I understand it. Also, I have ignored all the advice, and I have only been grinding up here north of town. Without incident, mind you. Yeah, probably. My thought was just, I think out west you can get lots more Pidgeys and Rattatas. Basically Rattatas. And I know those, they're like base XP, whatever part of the formula it is lower because they're Rattatas. Also, a nice side effect of how common Oddish is Borb and Kobe just absolutely mow down these things in just one hit. As illustrated. So, it's been very easy to level up both of those. Hail Bell and Nap and Fap, been a little tougher, but... I'm so happy I have a Kadabra. After the stream last night, I spent I think, like, almost an hour just, like, poring over the Bulbapedia pages for Mr. Mime and Kadabra, be like, which do I take? Which do I take? Looking at TMs they can learn and all that garbage. I'm hoping to have a threat team this week. You know, I'm feeling relatively confident. Not overwhelmingly, because I feel like I still have a lot of glass cannons. Borb and Kobe in particular have really bad defense. And, you know, you and Hugh have strong attackers. I also consulted the secret Vimbert advisor behind the throne when it comes to Pokemon. I called in my expert that I've definitely been consulting on all these highly detailed war room breakdowns for his take, and his vote was... Well, his vote was basically you can use whatever you want, but when pressed, he was like, yeah, probably Kadabra. I'm just a little concerned about that low defense. I'm keeping my expert a closely guarded secret. They have appeared in chat a couple times, but... Basically, I don't want my expert getting blamed for any of my incredibly questionable decisions, like, say, benching Rattata. That one was a little controversial. Perhaps. I actually don't even, what is Fox's experience with, Pokemon? Is she big into it? I know she certainly keeps up with our shenanigans, or at least comments on them a bit. So I assume so. Ah! You were like, you remember these games. I love these games. Here, play these. Ah, nice. Yeah, that'd be pretty clutch. You know, having your significant other to trade with and all that, if you're playing the same gen at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of one of those where you just have to bite the lewd bullet. But that's fine. I know Hugh cares a fair bit about keeping kind of a squeaky clean on his stream, but I don't give a damn. I don't have any monetization to lose. Say what you want in my house. Within reason. Okay, Hail Bell, you'll get trucked. Shit, I don't have good switch to options here. Who's ready for the thrilling battle of the century? Oh, right. Oddish is also poison. Okay, yeah, never mind. We're just gonna get the hell out of here. Okay, new plan. I heal up the snake, and then we use the snake to murder any Oddishes that show up. Because they're the only... No, we have 3 left. Okay, that's right. Solid Snake, Nap and Fap, and Hail Bell. You don't say. Mine too, actually, so I'm concerned about Hugh's Butterfree because I don't have an answer to that. I don't have Rock, I don't have Electric. I think my plan is just basically gonna have to be put out Revia. No, because Revias have poison. Shit, I don't know that I have a plan against that Butterfree. Bobby's gonna be a problem. Although perhaps my own Kadabra might be a halfway decent answer, just because it neuters... Its special is high enough that it's just going to be an absolute wall against confusion swipes. So that might be a half-decent plan. These are things I need to think through thoroughly before Friday. Or, you know, maybe I just tune in to Hugh's stream tomorrow and I just hope that Bobby gets murdered brutally. That's definitely not going to happen. Because out of the three of us, Hugh loves to plan. He got that thorough knowledge. He wouldn't pull a stupid move like me, not realizing that Goldeen can learn Peck. Hugh does owe us a death. I actually, you've foreseen some of the Vimbert panel war room advice for the Hugh section, actually. Though mostly just, the man's in the lead. He don't need any more points. Interesting thing for me this week is going to have to be to think about, you know, who do I lead with? I've got a few pretty strong Pokemon, but the question is, what's going to be the biggest threat offhand, and, like, what will the two of you expect me to lead with, and could you set up some kind of counter to that? Like, obviously, Kobe is strong, but its defense is not great, so you could just try and rush it down with physical attacks. So I'd be a little hesitant to lead with that. And I mean, of course, also if I lead with Borb, then for Hugh I gotta worry about Pikachu, or Magnum Dong. Do you have a flying answer on your team? I don't think you do, actually. Yeah. I feel like risky is very much going to be the word of the day, whenever Kobe comes out to play. Wow, everyone in the Discord was not lying. This is definitely the safer place to grind. These levels. Also kind of more favorable typings. Honestly, I would still be up north if Hail Bell doesn't get screwed every time an Oddish appears. Which is always. Just Butterfree, okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Ah, there we go. Hail Bell level 21. Alright, next. Hopefully you can nab a good electric type at some point, because any flying birds we have are, at some point or another, going to become something of a problem for Slagathor. Ah, Baron Bird. Never forget. Our poor fallen birds. Our poor fallen government drones. We shall miss them. We held them in our arms as their camera units saw light for the last time and died. I don't actually know in Gen 1 where you get the Eevee. If it's just something you get for free somewhere, or you have to game corner it. I actually don't remember where you get Eevee in Gen 2, come to think of it. It's free? Okay. That's cool. Top of a building. Okay. I'm not sure what I would do with my Eevee. Because we just have the 3 elemental options in this game. I might go Jolteon as well, just because... Unless I get Hail Bell killed stupidly, which is a real possibility. I've got water pretty well covered. Fire, I don't really care about, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, Flareon doesn't seem like a good choice. Like, I'm trying to think through fire and, like, it can hit grass, but I have Borb for that. It's not super effective versus ground, I think. Oh, right, I was mixing up fire. Yeah, what else does... Oh, ice, I guess, but... What's even ice in Gen 1? Seal? Lapras? Those have the water typing anyway. So it almost seems like kind of a non-issue. Oh, Jinx! Cloister, okay. I did not remember that one. Still, again. Well, aside from Jinx. Like, Cloister also has that water typing. So just keep around to... Well, no, because a grass type they can super effective hit. But then you can't really answer with fire either if they're half water. Bit of a conundrum there. Yeah, a lot of water ice. Which is a fairly reasonable combo. It makes sense. One of those things you'd expect to see. But almost to me seems like it falls into the same trap as ghost typing. Because you don't have ghost, you have ghost poison. And you basically don't have ice, you have water ice. I don't know, one of those weird Gen 1 things where they got a little too happy with dual typing, it seems like. Like, dual typing is cool. It's good to have 2 stabs. That's always a fun time, but... Like, for example, the birds. Did you really have to have them be normal flying? Seems questionable. Actually, wait. Snake can train up north. Yeah, because he can just... Yeah, okay. I need to be doing Nap and Fap here. And just swapping in Snake if I see a Spearow. Speak of the devil. Goddamn Pokemon son of a bitch. Crit for only 6, that's fine. Yeah, that seems like a good move on their part. Let me make sure if I need to swap to one of my level 21s, they won't. Okay, yeah, that's lots. That's lots. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, because they all just hit level 21, yeah. we have to swap into a level 21, that's fine. Which might, unfortunately, have to be a thing. But a Rattata? Nap and Fab's got that on lock. Why don't you have a nap? And then we have a Fab. I'm so glad I ran with this terrible suggestion of Hughes. Cause I don't run a wholesome Christian Minecraft server. Here for the conspiracy theories and such. Ooh! Delicious. I kind of forget that Nap and Fap is a little tankier than I'd expect. Can take a hit, unlike half my team. Some things shouldn't exist. Go on! Oh, do you not like Minecraft? A group of my friends got back into playing it occasionally this year, and I've actually had some fun with it. It's a good thing to just, like, get creative with and just make weird, absolute horror show architectures with. I enjoy it. I kind of burn out on it if I play too long in a stretch, but... I mean, I know it's a meme, but, like, are there actually Christian Minecraft channels? Or is that just, like, a thing we all say? I don't actually know. Right, that's what I'm saying, like, I've seen the memes, but, you know, people might have told a lie on the internet. Is a thing that can happen. Oh, that's entirely fair, Zed. I normally don't shy away from such research, but in a case like that, I might leave well enough alone as well. I'm sure there are people out there who would like to make it illegal. I mean, they tried to make memes illegal, for fuck's sake. Don't know how on earth they were ever going to enforce that. Though I actually never heard if the EU went ahead with that law. Or that particular provision of that particular law. I guess I should be slightly more accurate. Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying. Also not sure why I bothered to poison this chump. Should've just gone for the kill. Yep. One hit KO. What's even left after that? Man, I don't know. AMVs? Those are technically still around. You know, I've seen a good AMV in my time. Probably. But then a lot of bad ones. But I mean, after that, I feel like you, like... Oh! No. Okay. Theoretical... With Mythos Movie Maker opening? Exactly, with, like, the Comic Sans MS, like, letters that had the little, like, shine at the end as they slowly overlaid onto a flat blue background, like they were on Jeopardy or something. But no, I know what's next after memes. In our hypothetical, no, 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 no. You're not thinking old enough, Zed. This is my video. Please rate 5 stars and subscribe. You know, back when YouTube had the star ratings. Back in my day. I feel like I don't remember exactly when they dropped that, but it has been a while since they let that happen. But anyway, our theoretical nightmare internet legislation scenario. After they ban memes, the next thing they do is they... Same. The next thing they do is they go for, like, Facebook Marketplace, and they force you to, like, pay taxes and all that. Like, not just sales tax, like, tax the few dollars you make off that as, like, some kind of self-employed business that you have to file separately for. Like, they just eliminate the thing where it's like, oh yeah, if your dollars are under X... I'm not an accountant, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. And have a dealer's license, exactly. You have to get the proper, use license, sales license, whatever it is they call it. I work in finance, but this is part of finance I know nothing about, as I see my viewership count drop. Bye-bye. Though, I mean, they have had some success being like, hey, Amazon, other bigger online retailers, please do give us sales tax. And the websites were like, yeah, alright. Never thought I'd see the day. Big part of why I shopped online when I was poor. Because I was like, oh, I don't have to pay tax. Why would I go to an actual store ever again? Okay, this is gonna go nowhere. Alright, Nap and Fap, if you could just hit 21 in the next battle or two, that'd be fantastic. Because I'd really like to go north where we can get some better XP for Solid Snake. 1-hit KO? Nice. A man is picking up what I'm putting down. Doesn't look like it's happening. I only have 2 at this point. Just Nap and Fap and, Solid Snake. And then it is over with. So I'm almost there. I'm almost done. This week has kind of made me question if I ever want to recruit new Pokemon, because I kind of replaced half my team this week, and it increased the grinding load. So, I mean, they're all good replacements, I think. Only questionable one is probably Solid Snake. But I'm sure ahead we still have, like, Pidgeys and Rattatas, so there's gonna start to be some duplicates. Some good old dupes. Oh, nice. Just toss the rest in the PC box, never to see the light of day. Yes, I'm poisoning this Rattata to death. I want to be done with this Oddish. I have no shame and refuse to apologize. Because it worked, damn it. Sandshrew, though. But, nah, it's a fair point. Nidoqueen is really good, but you know, Sandshrew don't have that poison typing. You wouldn't have to worry about Butterfree or Kobe. I'm just saying. I mean, you'd still have to worry about them, but because I think Sandshrew has less special than Nidoqueen. I'm just gonna assume, but they'd be smaller problems, I think. Oh, and yeah, I somehow completely managed to miss earlier, but yeah. Bellsprout when you have Ivysaur, exactly. I feel like that's gonna be the same when I start getting water encounters, and I'm like, I've got a Wartortle. I'm good, thank you. Go sit in the PC box. Nap and Fap, are you almost done? Okay, 149. Should just be a few more. If you have somehow kept watching this entire time, I'm impressed. I was going to self-dunk on myself a bit there, but I'll just leave it at I'm impressed. Particularly if you're watching this on the VOD and not live. But all this murder, these are the foundations of our grand empire. No! I don't like to do the spacebar. I'm gonna be a little stubborn on that point. Because I feel like with text speed at maximum, you don't gain that much time. Plus I want some level of plausible deniability about not using an emulator. Only 1,600 more to go. Stab. My hope, my dear, dear hope, is that in the future I can just mostly lean on trainer battles. Because there we go! Nap and Fap is evolving into a stoner plant. Evolved into a stoner. Gloom. Let us look at this glorious lad. Not fast at all. Got that solid defense, really good special. Good attack that I don't know that we're ever going to use? Question mark? Yep, right at the level cap. I don't know that I've ever used the Oddish line before. I was trying to think when I was getting ready to stream today, and I think this will mark the first time. I usually don't go for grass Pokemon for whatever reason. And so I figured, you know, well, first of all, I needed a win button for Misty, and Nap and Fap came along at exactly the right time. And also, you know, it's a new thing. It's a thing I haven't done before. Nobody saw that. I think part of it was when I was young, I would always pick the fire starter, so I'd be like, psh, grass. Who goes with grass? Despite grass being more useful a lot of the time. But I mean, basically until now, all my Pokemon experience was when I was a child. Yeah, I know there were always people that were a fan of that grass type. Also, man, it's nice to... it's nice for now, my Ekans to see an Abra and just be like, yeah, let me just one-hit KO that, instead of fleeing in abject terror. No Psy-Wave in this gen. Because somehow I... Ah, that's fair. There were some woods by my house that I very much enjoyed, although for me it was often less about like just walking through the woods and more riding a four-wheeler through the woods because my dad had those around. Including the quote-unquote child-sized ones that still had like, you know, almost 200cc motors. And were definitely not safe for me to use as a young lad. But I still did. And I only managed to flip it on top of myself and be pinned underneath it once. And completely escape injury. Because I can be a lucky son of a bitch like that sometimes. Yeah. Although, in my offense, this was in Nebraska, so we were right near irrigation ditches because we were in the country. And it's Nebraska, there are irrigation ditches nearby. It was still spring, so they weren't irrigating yet, and so we just had these, like, beautiful, just dry gullies of this, irrigation ditch right outside the house, and I was like, let me just, like, drive the four-wheeler through there and, like, almost treat the sides like half-pipes. And the predictable thing happened. There was also a separate event where, I was doing cookies with my four-wheeler on our gravel driveway, and kept speeding up, and suddenly I found myself flying through the air, skidding a few feet across the gravel, and watching the four-wheeler just continue moving for a little while before coming to a stop. To my dad's chagrin, this was right when my mom was coming to pick my little brother and I up to take care of us for the weekend, because my folks were divorced at that point. Not a great look. But again, I was fine. I think I maybe, like, shredded up a shirt and maybe bruised my hands a little bit. I've had more brushes with potential severe injury than I really should for the lifestyle I have led and tend to lead, where I just mostly sit inside, read books, play video games, and the like. So I kind of don't want to push my luck with a lot of that stuff, because maybe I've used all that up. I'd rather not find out, you know? Also, healthcare in this country is a moving nightmare, and I don't want to subject myself to it any more than I have to. At least in the economics of it. Back on the Pokemon front, Solid Snake needs a lot more, so it would be great if I could get some Oddishes instead of just these goddamned Weedles and Kakunas. Yeah, I haven't ridden a four-wheeler in many years. I mean, I can't really now. I actually considered buying one for my place because I have a long driveway, and if it snows, it's going to be an absolute nightmare to shovel my way out of. And the old folks that lived here kept a four-wheeler in the back and just attached a little plow blade to the front of it, and I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea. But I haven't done that yet because money, and also it looks like it's going to be another dry winter. Also, I work from home and I don't have much occasion to drive places. Because I'm either walking, or I'm not really leaving the house except for walks just for exercise. So my car stays nice and safe in the garage, and barely used. Abra, now we're talking. Delicious. Finally some good fucking food. Oh, game. Really? Alright. I see how it is, Pokemon Red. I see what you're up to. That's fine. Solid Snake, have some Chimkin instead. Glad I started the stream a little early. I was afraid of how much grinding I would have to do. But that's my fault, switching out half my damn team, so, eh. Literally brought this on myself. But the payoff... The payoff will be good in 2 cases and questionable in 1. We're looking at the questionable one. Alright, to break things up a little bit, I think I'll head back to town. Solid Snake is running out of bites anyway. And then I shall do my first PvP War Room presentation. Analyze my chances against that wily Hugh Gaming. And this is going to be using the final version of my team, so it's not going to be completely congruent. For example, I think I looked up Ekans Evolves at level 21, so it's going to show an Arbok. But anyway, give me just a second to prepare this. And then we... Music? Hello? Okay, there we go. That's a little too quiet, I think. And then, let us go to the War Room with an examination of Hugh, and never mind, I have Solid Snake still as an Ekans. So we got the matchup with me. You have the death-defying Gambles, the Streamer Luck, the partially reformed Villain Energy. And I really, really need a clean win, because I'm currently in last place. We've got our chonky hard hitter, Revia, Lorigin and George, an absolute unit with that mega punch. And Solid Snake, our pogging, dummy thick, hype beast. Borb, the heir to the drone throne, a soulless killing machine and ready to heaven or hell, let's rock! And Kobe, none said it could be done. Who tries to catch an Abra in a Nuzlocke where you've only got one chance? What are such fools to say now? And then Hailbell, our waterboarding expert, our hero on the half shell. We'll get a pair of shades soon, TM. And then Nappinfap, now evolved into a gloom. Memes, armed with chloroform, actually morally gray. None of this fake morally gray Sylvanas crap that Blizzard will give you, actually morally gray. Meanwhile, we have Hugh. Poor Hugh, he will never live down his loss to the first rival fight. And as the current points leader, has a moral imperative to share the points wealth. And I'm not saying the PvP is rigged by being hosted on his channel, but... And we have his team. We have Magnum Dawn, the Pikachu. a special starter snowflake, too good for Pokeballs, and isn't fooling anyone with that name. Yamato the Gyarados probably has no good moves yet, just evolved, fears that static electricity, and responds to low-quality bait posts, still has those fish instincts hardwired in from its time being a lowly Magikarp. We got Bobby, who isn't gonna be okay, Dad. So you're gonna have to say bye-bye, Bobby Free. And doesn't pay library late fees. How dare he? How dare he? Cheese Whiz, the Raticate, not tempered in the OG Route 1 fires, like our own Raticate, well, Rattata, I never evolved it, was. A one-trick rat, just knows how to Hyper Fang, that's it. Not impressed. And being a rat would take the 30 pieces of silver and betray. Not saying that I tried, but I definitely tried. And then Menma, the Charmeleon, fueled by Hot Topic, the last starter chosen, the last one picked for Pokemon Kickball, and also Vague Books, unforgivable. Finally, we have Vimbird, who is a worthy competitor, and I have nothing bad to say. Yeah. It's my favorite Gen 1 evolution type, and it's got my name in it. What do you want me to say? And with this expert analysis complete, we can see that despite having the experience edge on me and the points edge, Hugh shall be defeated soundly. And we shall see that come to fruition on Friday. On Friday. With that done, we exit the war room and return to grinding Solid Snake up to relative competence. And yes, Zed, I'm deliberately saving you for last because you're here. Oh, the Minecraft server. No, there was a patch that forced all servers to like reset to work on the new patch, I think. So all our old stuff is gone, I think. I haven't gone on since because I was a little dispirited. Because I literally built a rail system and like, I don't know if you ever saw it, but there was a tunnel that you could take at the end of the line that looked like it launched you out into the ocean for fun, but it launched you into a lava pit with no hope of escape. It was great, but I don't know that anyone ever had the chance to die to it. Exactly, even better. And thank you, Zedward. Definitely was writing those late last night, like, you're not gonna have time to do these after work tomorrow. You gotta get them done. Alright, Snake, I'm gonna need you to eat these herbs. Not like that. Okay, 330. Almost to level 20. And then it's just a short sprint to 21. Of course Vimbird got the pass. It's great for comedic effect, and I have no issues with Pidgeotto. Literally my favorite Gen 1 line, like I said. Oh, Kakuna, why must you exist? At least in this context. I know, like, make you work for your early evolution a little bit, but... Daddy Solid Snake needs the XP. And the Kakuna line really doesn't cut it. Maybe if I could fight a wild Beedrill, but a wild Beedrill this early would be a little nuts, and also probably be a little too scary to fight with an Ekans, if I'm realistic. Because a Fury attack could just annihilate me. And... yeah, no. Fury attack would just annihilate me, probably. Flinch? Damn it. Okay. Good old rap. Say, Zed, or anyone else in chat, do you know when they got rid of rap? Because I don't think it's a thing later. Do they still have it, with all its nonsense? Yeah, I think poison is strong to bug. I think that's a thing. Because I can hit this Metapod with Poison Sting decently. Oh, it works different? How does it work now? Is it just like a straight damage attack rather than keeping people locked down forever? You know, the thing they probably should have done in the first place. Oh, okay. That seems reasonable. Makes it a lot more viable, too, because you can just slap on a wrap and then, you know, do real things. Also, Jesus, I know I leered a couple times, but I wasn't expecting to one-hit KO. Oh, and prevent switches. Interesting. Okay. That's definitely got some value. Yeah, I assumed they were still able to attack. That was kind of always the biggest bullshit part of rap. And definitely not the only reason I'm using it here. Certainly not! Why would I use such cowardly and dishonorable tactics? I mean, he was in here earlier literally admitting that the only offensive move that his Bellsprout has is rap. I live for dishonor. I care not for honor. Does honor feed my Pokemon? Does honor keep the Poke Nation safe? I say nay. The pursuit of honor has led to Team Rocket, a weak and ineffectual criminal organization. I shall destroy it and replace it with my own, far more efficient criminal organization. Surviving with 1 HP. Also, I've seen the dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow thing a few times this week. Is that a new meme I've just managed to miss? Because if I'm completely honest, I'm not 100% sure where that comes from. Oh, it's from Mulan. Okay. Oh, I suppose the, I forget his name. Probably the dragon? Oh, that's probably where I saw it, Zed. Mulan is... It's not a movie I remember. Mushu, yes, thank you. Thank you, Tail. I never did watch the live-action remake either. Because somehow it just didn't sit super well with me. Well, that and... I don't know. Oh. Yeah, that seems fair. Oh, well, sounds like I didn't miss anything by skipping out on the live action. Wow, a live action remake of an animated show? Or an animated work not being good? I am shocked. Shocked, I say. Positively shooketh. Oh, I forgot they made a live-action Jungle Book. I don't think that's a movie I ever even saw as a kid, if I'm completely honest. I feel like that one would be the easiest to tank. Depending on how they handled all the, you know, talking animals and stuff, I could see it easily being a little awkward or weird in live action, but if they got it kind of right, good for them. Good for them. They made 2... What? They made 2 live action Jungle Books? That boggles my mind a little bit. Oh, one was a Netflix one? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So I might have seen that name somewhere and just not realized it was what it was. That seems likely. Yeah, I know for a while, you know, it wasn't, people weren't really into any live-action remake of, animated things, you know. Who among us will ever stop trying to forget M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender? Woof. I don't know if it's still active now, but I heard about, my... We don't talk about that. Exactly. My boyfriend at the time, when I was hearing about it, told me about a subreddit where they just post like a reference from the show, like Lake Logai, and they pretend that the live-action movie doesn't exist, and the entire subreddit is just people talking about like, man, you know, it'd really be awesome if we got a live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie. It'd be so cool with all the martial arts. And they're like, yeah, but it hasn't happened, so it probably won't. And I love that. Just like almost like a wishful gaslighting. Well, very quietly in there, we managed to get our Sneck to level 21. So let's just take a moment to examine the full team, and then I will go to the war room and examine our matchup against our very own Zedward. So first up, we got our solid Snake. Pretty solid attack, defense, speed, and special. Pretty well balanced all around. Moves? Not good. Not really anything to write home about, if I'm honest. We got Bite. That's kind of it. Nap and Fap, an absolute beast. Isn't gonna go first, but is gonna hit pretty damn hard unless you can resist its attacks. Also, we got 3 different status ailments on deck. Yeah, I know, evolving at 22. I saw that when I was looking up last night after the stream, and I was like, God damn it. Just barely miss it. Of course, Hail Bell, the in no way misspelled starter. Excellent defense, well balanced otherwise. Got a respectable move list. And tanky Revia. Strong stats all around. Very, very good defense. And an absolute brawler with Mega Punch. This gal is absolutely going to wreck house. I look forward to, because Zedward has a Nidoqueen of his own, as I'll be talking about. I want to see Nidoqueen versus Nidoqueen. Let us see who is the most powerful. And of course, Borb. Deal. As we all know, birds aren't real, but this is a very efficient government hunter-killer drone that we've managed to reprogram into being on our side. Super good attack, excellent speed, middling defense, and special that just kind of exists. And moves are not that good yet, but Fury attack, gambling, I do like gambling. And finally, Kobe, the 1 in a goddamn million catch chance. It was higher than that. I don't actually know what it was. I assume it was very low. Garbage attack, awful defense, amazing speed, godly special. And we have confusion, and that's all. 63. You did indeed see that right. 63 specials, Edward. Oh, actually, I have a bit of a decision to make. I have a Bubble Beam TM. And I've been thinking this over, and I think I'm actually going to put it on Revia. Maybe catch, well, not Zedward, because he's seeing me do it, but maybe catch you off guard. But Stab, it's true, but Hail Bale has Water Gun. And I'm all about making those not optimal, but also not anticipated decisions. Revia, learn Bubble Beam. Because, you know, we still rockin' Growl. Oh, you did Water Gun on Nidoqueen. Yeah, that seems legit. Wait, there's a Water Gun TM? Do I have that? Oh, shit. Well, this is awkward. Oops. I think Whirlwind could lead to some fun shenanigans, so why don't I slap it on Borb? At the very least, it'll annoy the hell out of my peers in PvP. Well, Zed, I respect that, but I'm using all I can, because I need any possible edge I can try to get. Oh, do I have anyone that can learn Thunder Wave? Kobe can learn Thunder Wave? I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know that that's a smart move. And Seismic Toss, which I am told is pretty bad in this gen, so... Whirlwind always goes last? Oh. Well, I can always delete it later. Can Kobe learn Thunderbolt? Exactly. That is one I shall have to find out, because if he can... if he can. Anyway, I can do my inventory sorting off stream. For the moment, let us get the music back, and let us examine the matchup against Zedward. Where the hell did I put the War Room? Alrighty. Welcome back to the War Room. We finished our analysis versus Zed. Now let's take a look at our very own Zedward. You've seen my squad. Absolute monsters of destruction and Solid Snake. Ready to rumble. Ready to go forth and conquer. Meanwhile, on his side, he has Lowly. A fitting name for how lowly it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, Zed. I can use a better one next time. I just captured your face cam at one point on stream. Lowly wishes it were flying type, but it jaywalks despite the ability of flight. It just goes down to the ground and walks right across. And Metallica, it will eventually fall out of favor, just like the band. It's inevitable. We all know it's coming. And Metallica, you know, just can't keep the pounds off. Perhaps related to willingly eating Jack-in-the-Box once. Truly scandalous. Meanwhile, we have Isobat, the Zubat. Yep, literally just a bat. Not Batman, therefore nothing to worry about. We have Seinfeld, who doesn't actually like jazz. Absolute paper tiger. And misspelling causes a stat debuff, citation needed. And a Norgon, the Raticate. What is a Norgon anyway? Has a lack of type advantages. And I have it on good authority from the expert Vimbert War Room panel that Norgon wrote a self-insert fanfic where they defeated Splinter. Cringe, bro. Cringe. Meanwhile, we have Slagathor, public enemy number 1, not hypoallergenic, and wants to tell you about a fabulous opportunity with a multi-level marketing scheme. And finally, we have the man himself, Zedward, Who misspells a Pokemon nickname? Who would do that? Has dogs versus the clearly superior cats, and should clearly do his internet sensei Vimbert a solid and just take a dive. It'd be real cool of him, you know? It'd be great. Everyone would have fun. It'd be funny. Everyone would laugh. It'd be a great time. Fun would be had by all. I think it's a great move, with absolutely no downsides. So as you can see, despite Zedward having the points advantage, the experience advantage, arguably the Pokemon advantage in a few times, we will also have a crushing victory over him. So that has been the War Room. Let me switch back to Pokemon as we, don't you me. I do have that used car salesman. My Ekans is pogging. I'm glad you noticed. Because I grabbed the, I use Zedward. He has, because that's how they did it in Pokemon Green over in Japan. And I saw that and I was like, I can't not. I can't not. That was not a sprite added. That's the actual sprite they used in a game, in a real Pokemon game. So if you'd like to see any of the amazing matchups, that will be happening on Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain over at twitch.tv/Hugh_gaming. I'll also be putting up a host on my own Twitch channel, so you can also just go here and it'll redirect you to where all the action is. Zed, Hugh, and I will be talking about how our weeks went, our challenges, our frustrations, and then battling it out through use of Pokemon Showdown with our actual teams that we have currently after beating Misty and getting up to the level cap of 21 and seeing who comes out on top. And also tomorrow, Hugh is finishing up his section. He has to get through Misty and finish off his level grinding. Also go and support him. He runs a good stream. He puts music over the grinding, probably makes it a little more bearable because he's a little dead inside from all the Nuzlocke grinding he's done. And thank you everybody for coming out, hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I know the grinding is not always the most interesting, which is why I try and go podcast mode. Thank you for sharing a little bit of your evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it may be for you. If you're watching the VODs after the fact, I see you. I appreciate you. I don't know why you watch all the way through these, but I treasure it. And to finish it off, let me see if there's anyone I know who is streaming that I can send y'all to. As a raid. I am not seeing anyone. There are a couple of VTubers I watch live, but I'm going to go with an unconventional choice. And there's a very cool channel I know called Crittervision, who they're literally just like a family that lives like out in the woods somewhere, and they set up their cameras with night vision and have lots of like feeders out, so you can see like raccoons and birds and everything, just like come around in nature and just do animal stuff. It's very soothing. So I think I'm going to watch them for a bit. But either way, hope you have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for hanging out. My name is Vimbert, and I'll see you over on somewhere out there on the internets. My God, I can't talk. I need I need to drink a frickin' water, y'all. Good night.